Hi, I've been lurking for a while around here and been building the courage to post about my first bad trip in hopes of seeking some advice from more experienced users. As some backstory, I'm 23 and I've tripped 4 times before my worst, and each time slowly upped the dose and had never really had any profound moments. Still always had a great time, but nothing out of the ordinary. About 2 months ago, my dad left for 2 weeks, so a friend and I planned to trip while he was gone. She's probably my best friend in the world. We've tripped separately and together once before, but while I had the house to myself, we wanted to have a good time together. We both took 5 100ug tabs of 1p LSD around midnight. Minus my friend feeling nausea, the beginning was the greatest part of the night. Eyes closed visuals were absolutely astounding. Vivid colors and fractals, and the highlight of my night, I remember seeing a starfish spin across my field of vision and telling my friend and just laughing about the sight of it. After the first album we were listening to, Just Laying in the Dark, was over, we went outside for a cigarette, and she said she could see planets in the sky, and I was just watching the colors still. When I went to get back up, I was having trouble standing up. She dragged me inside and I could barely make it up the steps. The next couple hours are a bit of a blur, but things quickly turned south for me. We ended up in my room, and for some reason I very quickly realized I made a mistake and I was starting to lose control. I don't remember what brought it on, but I realized something was happening to me. I keep thinking it was time to go, and that this was it. It felt like I figured it all out, and as though we were the only 2 people left in the world. I started to panic. Everything started to feel fake, like I was trapped in a game inside my mind. I kept trying to keep my friend on the same page. She said I got up to smoke like 5 times and I would just set it back down. I didn't know what was going on. My chest started to hurt, so I tried calling a more experienced friend for some help. The phone call to me didn't go through. It felt like I was slowly being disconnected from the world. I noticed it was dead, so I plugged it in because I wanted to know it was available. Then as time went on, I noticed it wasn't charging, and I panicked more. It was roughly then that I noticed that time wasn't quite working for me. It was like it stopped. The clock wouldn't move, the phone wouldn't charge, and I had no idea what to do. I felt utterly trapped. What happened next was a little blurry, but it was like everything was folding into one moment. I remember standing up, trying to get a grip onto anything, and the lights in the room went out as my friend tried to fix the charger, and I called out to her, and for just a moment I felt completely alone, like the entire world and reality in which I lived had disappeared. My second trip, a friend of mine brought up ego death, and I couldn't wrap my head around it at the time. I don't know if that's what happened to me in this moment, but it's the best I can describe it as. If not that I'm pretty sure I was decently close, but so horrified to let go. Unfortunately, I don't remember much because I couldn't really distinguish what was actually happening anymore. Maybe we did just have some weird issues getting the lights back on, but it felt like I was being ripped away. The next thing I remember, I was on the ground crying, telling my friend that I was so afraid to die. And it was like that was the big realization I had during this trip. Afterwards, we were on the bed and I was just curled up with blankets. I wanted so desperately for time to move forward. At least at this point, I gained something to laugh about. I asked my friend how she measured time, and she couldn't really give me an answer. I apparently had a quick response to my own question, but she said it freaked her out and made her laugh when Jay said, "You don't know how you measure time?" The come down from this point on consisted of me forcing my friend to tell me the time every 3 minutes, or I was certain I was going to lose my mind again. She sat with me the rest of the morning, and we stayed up the rest of the day and enjoyed it with another friend. Reading back now, it doesn't sound that intense, lol, but for clarification, it was more my headspace than any visuals. I've never been in a single moment for so long, or felt such fear and panic, and more especially like I was actually dying. It was more so the feelings than anything actually happening. My question to those more experienced out there is, what helped you deal with a bad trip? Anyone else not able to let go? Does this sound like the death of my ego to you? Do you retain memories from an ego death experience? I've been struggling accepting whatever happened that night since it happened. IDK why I'm so hung up on it, but I would like to not be anymore. Also just curious to hear some opinions on my story, and thank you if you've made it this far. Sending love out to all of you. P.S. I've learned a lot from this experience. First and foremost, how important it can be to know your limits. As not the most experienced tripper, taking 500ug was probably a bad idea. How my friend was fine, I have no idea. I'm so grateful for having someone that even under the influence was able to try anything to make me feel better. and I think our relationship has grown infinitely from this experience. I've shared things buried deep down in me that I think only I knew before that. I've also learned that, or so I think in the end, we're all truly alone. No one else is in my mind. No one else can make decisions for me or carry me through life. That's up to me. People can help, of course, but I need to do the work, which is something I'm really struggling with. Or maybe this is a subjective view of mine that I need to change. Haven't quite decided on that yet. Finally, I think I might have some issues that I need professional help with. I clearly don't accept death in any way, and I think that's a big issue for me. Thank you for watching till the end. I will be uploading daily for future references. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support my work.